welcome to Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And I want to say something. This is, Batman's always great and all, but I was watching The Dark Knight Returns Part 2 again. Mm-hmm. There's one part that kind of just, and it's not really, bothers me in a sense, but, okay, you know when Batman's just bleeding all over the carnival?
Yeah.
How can the cops not figure out that's Bruce Wayne and be like, huh, whose blood is this? Let's take it down to the lab and test it.
It took them somewhere in the mid-90s to actually acknowledge that, but
no, because they explained in one where he fucking sprays it down with that stuff that deoxygizes it or whatever. I'm gonna use my non-scientific knowledge to try to explain what he does to it. He sprays it like a fucking cat. He lifts his leg and just goes.
Well, could we do a Boondock Saints 2? Well, actually, Boondock Saints 1's where they spray it with ammonia or something. So
yeah, ammonia. There we go. That's what it is. Maybe that's what I was saying. I'm fucking Boondock Saints. I get my Boondock Saints and my Batman confused. They all start with B. They all run together after a while.
Yeah. The one's cool. One's fucking amazing in every way. So
yeah, Boondock Saints is really good, but Batman's just amazing.
He's got years on it. It has seniority.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Boondock Saints, they have 70 movies or something.
Which actually kind of reminds me...
I don't know how interesting that would be for 70 movies.
Probably get, yeah. Number 2, that was already kind of shaky, so by number 70, I don't know what they'd have. But, speaking of Batman, this is somewhat Batman-related. There's actually something on, I go to spill.com a lot. They're a movie site. They also have a little bit of video game stuff, but it's primarily movie reviews and podcasts on that. And they had a little news article on there saying that the Justice League movie is actually, they're starting from scratch. Originally, they were almost ready to go with it. But then, the script is...
Fuck Ryan Reynolds.
They're the script is bullshit. We don't even know where to begin. And apparently they were going originally with, I guess... I didn't read a whole lot of 80s Justice League. I'm just starting to read Justice League now. I've always been more of just single character kind of comics. But, I was never really read a whole lot of teen comics, But anyway.
I always feel like that's made more for shows and stuff. That sounds weird, but that comes across cool. If I'm gonna read a comic, I want kind of a more story that's more talking and flowing. And I just feel like if you have a Justice League one, it's more action, time to team up, fight something that's too evil for the both of us.
Yeah, and I bought the Justice League New 52, and it was good, but it really was just kind of let's just watch some shit explode and get some cool artwork by Jim Lee. But
that's cool, but strange enough in comic books, action's one, it's that's cool. That's cool, flip.
I read through it real quickly. Yeah, you read comics quickly, but this one was you just sped through it.
So you kind of forget, it's it's an art book, too. Maybe I should stop. Oh, that's pretty. That's nice.
Well,
Look at that
Jim
detail.
Lee, I'm not complaining. It was a Jim Lee artwork, so it's going to be good. But, anyway, so the Justice League movie, apparently they've chopped down to a couple characters at this point. Who knows, this may change, but they said right now they're keeping it simple. It's going to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and Green Lantern. They haven't said
that's fine. I mean, you don't have to make it too complicated.
Yeah, and they haven't said anything on. They haven't said anything if Ryan Reynolds is going to be still playing Green Lantern, or if they're just going to push it to the side or whatever. And then they just said
yeah, I mean, because Green Arrow and stuff, he's a cool character and all, but
this is primarily them just stating their opinion on the situation. But I can't find the name here. But Will Beal put together a script that was horrible, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, I'll explain something. Dude, on Point Break, I was watching that last night.
Okay.
No. This will lead fucking around.
All right.
Out of the group of Patrick Swayze's team, there's the 4 of them. There's the one guy that doesn't fucking have long hair at all. He looks fucking like Green Arrow. If they made Green Arrow in 1995, this guy could play him.
Okay, well, I was watching Murder, She Wrote the other day, and that one chick looks like she could play fucking Granny Goodness. So, she's actually, Jessica Fletcher's probably dead by this point.
Go back and look at that, though. Look at that guy. He looks just like Green Arrow.
I'll have to check that movie out. It's been some time. The guy that doesn't do anything, you say?
No, he's just he's the only guy that doesn't have long hair. Because there's Patrick Swayze, and then there's the 2 guys that kind of look the same. They both have long blonde hair. Mm-hmm. And then there's the guy that has the short hair, but he's got the mustache and a little goatee.
I was a little disappointed in Smallville, they never, the guy that played Oliver Queen never actually grew out the mustache or goatee or nothing. He always just stayed clean shaven. It's come on,
that's fucking retarded, because that's the whole point of Green
I guess he's young. I guess because he was young and he was in his mid-20s or something. But at the same time, it's come on, grow into that shit.
Well, yeah, it's at least have a fucking mustache, or at least have a goatee. One or the other, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
you're gonna got both.
Into the series, it jumps 10 years later. We don't see him, but they imply he's still doing work. So maybe he grew it in that time, but it took him 10 years to grow a fucking mustache or goatee.
Yeah.
No, but anyway,
yeah, I'm proud of that mustache.
It's not going nowhere. It took me 10 years to get this fucking thing. No, but Justice League movie, they generally said, like, yeah, the script's really bad. They don't know where to begin with it, so they're just going to start from scratch. And from there, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't see...
How fucking difficult is this?
I don't know. I think the big thing is, I mean, I'll say this. I myself am more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. I do love Marvel. And I know out of all the comics we talk about, 80% of the time we talk about DC really on this thing. But as far as DC goes, though, it just seems like they're kind of, even though like I love the Batman ones, and Superman Returns was good, Green Lantern was all right. Out of all the more recent DC films, they seem to be really taking baby steps, with the exception of Batman. With the exception of Batman, they seem to not be taking risks. Watchmen. Watchmen. I still don't think that is DCU.
Yeah, it's
at
not
the same
like
time.
DC like main, but still.
But still, they are throwing the DC logo on that thing like no fucking other. But I think also because like Watchmen, I think it got like, I don't know how it did at the box office, but I'm guessing it was fairly.
It probably
successful.
made pretty good at the box office.
Probably not like amazing, but probably decent. Yeah. And it got like fairly positive reviews. I mean, you hear the people that hate it fucking hate that movie, but generally I think it got...
That's because it got nothing better to do.
Yeah. And then like, oh my god, it's not exactly like the fucking comic, you know, whatever.
But it's pretty damn close. Well, that's probably those, like, that's what you really gotta avoid being that guy that goes in and you find like, because like literally, because sometimes that happens. You'll start to hate a movie, and then you'll start to think, and you go like, you know what, I'm fucking only hating the movie because there's 3 things that bothered me in the movie. You got to make a fucking pros and cons list when you go to a movie and go, how much stuff did they do right compared to how much stuff they maybe did like slightly wrong? Because it's never like super wrong. It's mostly just slightly wrong. And mostly when you see that, you're like, oh, okay, I was just being a total douche by being like, oh, they don't fucking use accents or...
I still don't like X-Men 3. And it's not because of the lack of accents. I'm not even a diehard X-Men fan. I just don't like X-Men.
Yeah, I think it's just because you're just not a diehard X-Men fan. Because I come to the conclusion that I think X-Men 3 is actually the better one out of the original 3.
Really? Think so? I still like the second one.
I know
first.
so.
You know so?
No, because I went back and watched them all. I was like, no, that one actually sort of is. I mean, it's got some, as always, like those movies, like the things that like you complain about, then you kind of go, you know, that's like a couple things compared to like, let's just look at all the good stuff in it, and you're like, you know, it kind of outweighs it. And that's kind of the same thing I did with X-Men 1 and 2. And I even do it with some other movies too. You know, you just look at them and go, okay, what's the worst part about this movie?
Well, for me, it was one of those things. The big thing about X-Men 3 was it didn't... I mean, the other X-Men films did this a little bit, but not too much. The big thing with X-Men 3 for me was, like I said, I'm not a diehard X-Men fan. I know a little X-Men here and there, but and I even have like 1 or 2 books. But the thing with it was they threw in characters. I'm not expecting them to get in like a character's massive anthology into like an hour and 40-minute movie. I'm not expecting that. But a lot of the stuff was just kind of like, oh, look, there's Psylocke. Did she do anything? No, she's just kind of there for the sake of saying we have this character.
To me, that's fine, because there's not enough room. I mean, that's just bitching the bitch, because...
I don't think it's bitching the bitch. I mean, it's kind of one of those things...
Because, they have Jubilee. She's in, like, the first 2, but, I mean, she doesn't even have, like, lines.
Yeah, well, that's a little different, though. I'm talking because Psylocke... I mean, I guess a character, because from when I watched the cartoon, from playing the video games, I always liked Psylocke. And I guess
Psylocke's just as big as Jubilee. I mean, there's not really...
It's not so much that, because I know Jubilee, she did not always play a huge character. I just mean there are certain characters that they just kind of threw in there for the sake of throwing in there, and not so much of, like, I'm not going to complain about, like, oh, fucking Juggernaut's not really a mutant, and he couldn't go through the wall or anything. I'm not going to complain about that part, where they call Juggernaut a mutant.
Yeah, that's stupid shit. That's what I call, like, that's a small complaint. And I mean, and I know why they see, the thing is, you gotta always think, I know why that's in there, though, because that would confuse the fuck out of the regular audience. Like, what do you mean he's not a mutant? How the fuck
look at all this backstory and tell me
here's a stone he found. Like, okay, I'll believe they're mutants, but I'm not believing no fucking stone.
In the old comics, did he get the stone? Also, the outfit appeared on him, or did he actually get, like, is it...
I think the outfit's not part of the stone, I don't think. Okay. Or if it is, I just don't remember that part.
I remember I just saw, like, an episode of... it was back...
I know he keeps the stone, like, in his fucking head.
Or
his helmet.
I know there's that stupid-ass show. I mean, they sum it up quickly, but there's that fucking... I'll come back to X-Men in just a second, but there's that Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends show. And there's an episode... One? Yeah, and there's an episode where Firestarter, or whatever her name was, and Iceman were out of town, and then the Juggernaut came in, and they showed him grabbing the stone, like in a flashback. This is how I got my fucking powers. He grabs the stone.
Shoving up his ass.
Yeah. He shows the story. He's like, ah! I'll see he's in the outfit.
Xavier, get the stick!
Yeah. he just like he zaps. He's in the fucking outfit all of a sudden. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay, I don't remember that part.
No, it did not have him jamming a stone up his ass.
Fucking Xavier with like a fucking mop.
Look, Stan, I know how badly you want to have. I know how you're really trying to push the boundaries here, and the drug issue where like where Peter stopped Harry from ODing is kind of a big thing. But really, this is going a little too far, don't you think? Jack Kirby doesn't want to draw that shit. No, but it's more like things like going back to X-Men 3. It's more like things kind of like they would just throw. I mean, I don't mind cameos. It's just when they kind of just toss this character in there. It's a really interesting, fun character. Yeah, it's just like, there they are. Oh, she's zapped. She's dead now. Kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those ones, like, because I look at it this way, there's like, we're just include the other X-Men movies for the moment, but there's only 3 X-Men movies. That's like the equivalent of, a little over 5 hours. Mm-hmm. Maybe almost 6, but, you can only fit as much as you can fit in that much. You know what I mean? So just the idea of having a cameo, to my personal opinion, is better than not having him at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well,
I mean, they could be better. Yeah, I definitely agree. But I think it's just cool to be like, well, at least they acknowledge.
Yeah, like, I have no problem with the cameo. Well, the thing is, I didn't even know who that was until after I was reading the credits. Like, she was in that fucking movie? And then I saw, like, a thing, like, oh, is that chick? So, it was just one of those things.
It's kind of like in a fucking Jurassic Park, like, Steven Spielberg said after they made that movie, he's like, I got so many fucking letters. He didn't say fucking, but I got so many letters from people saying, where the fuck is the Stegosaurus? When fucking Nedry got that thing, they said Stegosaurus on it. And there was no fucking Stegosaurus in that movie. I was like, fuck it, we'll just put in the next one.
Well, I'm not trying to be that guy.
That's the thing that's like one of those things. Like,
I don't think I'm being that guy. I'm more.
Like, there you go, there's your fucking Stegosaurus.
There's your fucking Psylocke. No, I'm not being that guy. And, it was just one of those things. Just not that character, but just other things about that movie. I thought the pacing felt kind of off, and you were just talking about a movie that came out. Remember that movie that came out 5 fucking years ago that everyone's done bitching about?
Fucking like 8 years ago by now.
Yeah.
Make you feel really old.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah, but Jesus, not 8 years. It was
like 2006 or something.
It was 2006.
Or
yeah.
5.
I graduated high school. It wasn't fucking.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't want to
Let's not think about it. Yeah. Let's talk about happy shit. Yeah. So actually, this ain't so happy. Well, I guess I'm having trouble with Justice League, the movie. Anyway. And
X-Men, Justice League, same thing.
We're just going back to that happier thing. Well, it may not be happy. We'll see what happens for this movie. But I think they're not taking enough chances on it. They're just being kind of like very soft and easy with it. Where Christopher Nolan, they took a chance on. Zack Snyder, I'm actually looking forward to see him do Superman. But like Green Lantern, for instance, that seemed kind of like, well, this seems kind of like a not as well-known character, so play it safe like you usually would do a superhero movie.
Well, Green Lantern was like, let's try to do it the Marvel style. And that's what I kind of came across. Like, let's make it fun and funny and like a good old romp.
Well, here's the thing. Most of the Marvel films, like, all right, I'll say this. Probably from the Marvel studio films, not just Marvel in general, the Marvel studio films.
Like Marvel last 6 years.
Yeah. From most favorite to least favorite, it probably goes Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and then, like, Iron Man 2.
And Hulk.
Actually, Hulk probably comes before Iron Man. Hulk comes before Iron Man, I'd say, for me personally, because I really like the Hulk. But
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. Incredible
Hulk. Phrase that.
Yeah, the real Hulk. Let's say that.
But the thing to me is like, I can take those movies for example too. Those movies I used to kind of like. I'd see like a couple things about me, and it was like, fuck those movies. Fucking movies think they can be so cool making a Thor movie, and then you kind of go back when I was rewatching, and you're like, most of the movie's fucking cool. It's just, you take like a couple things that really bother you, and for some reason that was like ruins the movie. It's like, I don't want to be that guy now.
Natalie Portman and her silly friend.
Yeah, Natalie Portman and her stupid friend, whatever that chick's name is.
Kat Dennings.
Yeah, Kat Dennings. She's good in other stuff, but not that.
Yeah.
But, oh boy, now we got an intermission here. Ryan has left the room. Left me here. I think there is something he needs to go pick up. Maybe the UPS guy is here. Let's have an intermission time. Okay, I think I hear him coming back in the room. Well, not yet. Okay, he's coming back in. He's strutting in quickly. He's got a Coke Zero in his hand now. He feels excited. He's smiling. He's happy. He's back.
All right.
It's Ryan Dunigan.
Hello. What'd I miss?
I don't know. I was explaining what you were doing.
Well,
I didn't know what you were doing, though, so I just made stuff up.
All right. Anyway, so.
But, fucking, like, Thor, that was a perfect example, though. That was a movie where I was, like, complaining about stuff. And then you go back and, you're like, it's probably, like, 3 fucking lines that, like, bother you. And, it's like, most of it comes from that one character. But if you just take that and make the pro and con list, you're like, 90% of the movie's good. It's just 10% of it that kind of like ruins it for you. And if you just say like, that's only 10%, whatever, fuck that 10%. Then the movie's actually not that bad of a movie. And that's kind of how I have to look at these movies nowadays.
Yeah.
Or else you just become a native Nancy and you sit there and bitch about everything. When you're really just bitching about 3 lines that bothered you for some reason.
Well, for me, those movies, I mean, the Marvel films, in some ways, I think they're taking risks. In other ways, they're playing it safe.
Well, I do feel they do come across as kind of campy and fun. And that's why I look, I'm like, that's what they are. They're campy and fun. I'm not going to expect, like, a very serious story out of these.
Because when you actually look at most comics, I'm not trying to bring comics down, but not every issue of a comic book is Dark Knight Returns, or not every issue of a comic book is Old Man Logan.
Well, really, too, it's like one of those ones, like, really, those even those, like, the more serious stories, they're only, like, the last, like, 20-plus years. Because even in that Dark Knight Returns era, like, a lot of the other stories, they're not nearly as, like, you read a Batman story that comes after Dark Knight Returns, it still kind of goes back to being like, oh, well, here's regular Batman. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. No,
here comes Joker for crowbar. Oh, we killed Robin. Oh, well.
There's actually, I want to tell you, this was a part that I love in the, this goes back, I think, like a year, maybe 2 years. I was catching up on some of the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin. And there's a part when they have Joker's kind of working with Dick Grayson Batman and Damian Robin, and the Joker's like in a police interrogation room, and Robin goes in there. He says, "Oh, you're gonna give me some information." He says, "Oh, I don't," Joker's
Damian or Dick Grayson?
Damian.
Okay.
Dick Grayson's off on a mission. And then, like, he says, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to do that." He says, "Oh, I'm pretty sure you are." He pulls out a crowbar and says, "Does this seem familiar?" And then he starts beating the shit out of Joker. And at some point, like, Joker's just kind of waving his arms, like, "Oh, get away from me," jokingly. Accidentally just very faintly scratches Damian. Just gives him a tiny little nick. But his nails are poisoned with Joker venom. So it's enough to, like, kind of paralyze him, but not actually kill him or anything. He says, "You are hands down my favorite Robin. Want to know why?" He says, and then it has like a big splash page or at least a big panel like, "You brought your own crowbar for me." But he doesn't actually do nothing. He actually just holds him as a hostage and has him do
That's pretty funny.
Thing for him. But I thought it was a pretty good line. But anyway, but as far as not every comic is all like we were just saying, it was just recently they started becoming something else. They've become more darker, more serious stories. And I think that I'm able to take that with the Marvel ones. In some ways, the Marvel ones are being fairly risky because what they did is, okay, I'm not going to try and bring Christopher Nolan down in any way because he's made probably my favorite superhero trilogy. But the first two being the strongest, obviously. But everyone knows Batman. Everyone has grown up with Batman, so we can accept Batman. Probably 10 years ago, if you were going to make an Iron Man movie, it probably would have been like a February release, hour-and-a-half movie, maybe a few big stars, like 2 stars in it, not this huge A-list cast with a lot of money pouring it. Because the fact they actually they stopped and said, let's try and treat this seriously. This is the character not everyone really knows. Well, not treat seriously so much, but just treat it with respect at least. Because that seems like a character nobody really, you never saw Iron Man.
Back in the day, it's just like Iron Man. Like when I was a kid, it was just like he's just there. He hangs out with Captain America because he thinks he's cool to hang out with Captain America. That's how you viewed it as a kid. You're like, Captain America, he represents cool and everything awesome.
Yeah.
You see Iron Man? Well, he's just fucking there. Wears a suit, fucking pussy.
Now
kid, that's kind of how it feels like a kid, Kids are really like, it's really hard to impress children. But I got this cool suit. Yeah, well, fucking Captain America doesn't wear a suit. He fucking just has a shield and he throws it.
Now this day and age, though, like, Iron Man is the favorite superhero of a lot of people.
I know, it's really weird, because like back in the day, kids used to be like, what, Iron Man, fucking bitch.
And now it's kind of like, unless you're like a big comic book fan, you probably didn't like Iron Man, you give a shit about Iron
fucking
Man.
Vision will kick your ass.
Yeah.
It's fucking not even wearing clothes.
Yeah. Or fucking Scarlet Witch or something. But no, Iron Man, though, it's just one of those things that all of a sudden, since they said, oh, let's take a chance. Let's get a bunch of good actors. We got Robert Downey Jr., we got Jeff Bridges, we got Gwyneth Paltrow and other people. Just all in this movie. I mean, that's all it kind of really takes. Someone just be willing to take a chance on that. Just like all it really took was someone for like Christopher Nolan say, let's stop and take Batman seriously for him and let's focus on an aspect that's never been focused on before.
Well, I think those Marvel movies, too, what they do, too, is they want, their movies are shot towards 2 target audiences, really. They're shot towards the middle-aged, parents, and the children. Those are the 2 main things they're shooting for. And it's like, they shoot them up, the middle-aged parents, and they're like, okay, you kind of know who these things are. They've been around for 70 years. You know who these characters slightly are, even if you don't know their stories and whatnot. And those parents probably just kind of view them like, well, yeah, it's superheroes. It's kind of like kid stuff. So it's got to be at least a little bit light and a little bit campy. But then they kind of make these movies like, but here, we're going to make it more adult-oriented now. So you can take it serious, but it's still fun and campy enough, and you can bring your kids along, too. Whereas Dark Knight's kind of like, let's make this borderline R.
Mm-hmm.
You kids could come if you're cool, parents.
Pretty much. That sums it up pretty good.
And I think that's just that's just two ways to do it. It's like, I feel the Marvel movies are kind of the safe movies. And the Dark Knight was very like, that could have been that movie that like, almost would have not got any like press or anything. Like, you would like shun this thing, hide it.
Yeah.
But it worked out. But no matter what, I think it would have sold no matter what. But it was just a bunch of like 30-year-old men going in there.
Man of Steel, though, that's one of those ones that's kind of that I'm kind of curious about that, because that doesn't really, I mean, even though they're trying to almost copy the Marvel Studios format, it doesn't really look like a Marvel film. It looks like it's taking itself seriously, but through like Superman, and they look like they're more treating it like just from the trailer they've shown, even though it's obviously, you know, the Godfather of superheroes, it's because Superman being the original superhero.
Superman being Superman.
Doing a Superman thing, you know. But no, drunk Batman. But no, anyway, we get the, what was I going to say? It looks more like a large-scale science fiction film than it does like a
Yeah,
film.
that's what it kind of looks more like science fiction-y. It looks like artsy, but like in a good way. No, it just doesn't come across as more like, hey, kids, Superman time.
Yeah, and at the same time, well, they've only announced that General Zod. There might be a big thing coming out about that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Another thing, actually, this is superhero related, but this is actually on Amazing Spider-Man 2. I saw this on I don't know how long this has been out. I read it on IGN the other day. It was actually one of those IGN videos. Mark Webb, because they just started shooting
Spider-Man.
They started shooting Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they've already confirmed Jamie Foxx as Electro and Paul Giamatti as Rhino. And Harry Osborn...
I don't know what it is, but Paul Giamatti as Rhino just sounds like...
I think it is going to sound weird. I think that could work because they're going more off Ultimate Spider-Man. In Ultimate Spider-Man, Rhino's a robot suit, and I think that could work.
Yeah, I guess that could work.
He's
a good enough actor. I just think it just sounds weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird because he's not exactly the most physically fit guy, but at the same time, I could see them go because I want to say an amazing
fucking Danny. Well, I guess Danny DeVito was in a Batman movie, so go figure. It's kind of like the same thing over again. Just.
Well, no, Danny DeVito had the right stature to play the Penguin.
No, he had the right stature and size. That's what made him perfect.
I think because like there's I don't think it was in the actual Ultimate Spider-Man comics, but it was in the video game. There's a mission where you went against the Rhino. You saw there was a little short, balding guy with glasses that driving the Rhino.
Huh.
So I want to say that that might be the case. We'll see what happens in the movie, though. Who knows? If they just
That's cool though, because
they have Paul Giamatti just in like a fucking like Rhino spandex thing. How awkward that would look. Everybody else gets a badass outfit, but no. But here's the other thing: the possibility of a fourth villain, because something they've confirmed was, and you know, this is pure speculation, but and I wouldn't have noticed this unless I read on the article, but
something.
Harry Osborn's going to be in the next Spider-Man. Yeah, and on his birthday, the birthday of the actor that's playing him, Mark Webb posted, I think it was on Twitter or something, a picture of a locker. It said Locker 14. It said Happy Birthday. That's all it said. That was the same locker. Locker 14 was because I remember in Ultimate Spider-Man, Venom came from like he was supposed to be a cure to cancer, a suit that you put on to cure cancer.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
that was the same number that Eddie Brock went to, and then he pulled it out and became Venom. So they think that maybe he might be putting Harry Osborn in place of Venom and be making Venom bringing him back.
That'd be cool. I will say that I think that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is actually gonna be a pretty sweet movie because there's nothing really wrong with the first one. But if there wasn't really the original Spider-Man trilogy, like, literally 10 years ago...
Yeah.
and less for the sequels, I think that movie... Like, if that was the first Spider-Man movie ever, you'd be like, oh, this is fucking amazing. But I think since there was kind of the other ones, you're like, oh, okay, when the fuck does... Come on, it's been an hour. He should have been Spider-Man in fucking 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I use that fucking Green Lantern First Flight movie. The upside of that movie is he's fucking Green Lantern in under 5 minutes in that entire movie. It just explains everything. Like, he's a pilot. Oh, he finds a ring. He puts it on. Oh, fuck, he flew around the world once. Okay, I figured it all out from here. Let's go to space.
How about that? Hello, tutorial. No. But that'd be interesting. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised they're jumping to Venom, because usually, like, studios be like, whoa. Last time Venom was in it caused a lot of trouble. You know, I don't think it was so much the character. It was just fucking writing and rushing and all that shit.
Using fucking Eric Foreman.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, let you... They're just like... Who's the most wussiest actor you can think of? I mean, probably not the most wussiest, but Still, it's Eric
You don't
fucking
think-
Foreman.
you don't
it's a
think-
guy whose dad yells at him all day long. That's his nemesis is his fucking dad.
You don't think you don't really think Venom when you watch that '70s show. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, she should have got fucking Hyde to play Venom. That's the most manliest character on there.
Still has the fucking
That or
afro.
Donna.
Still has the afro and the sunglasses.
It's fucking just over the
Yeah.
mask.
I'm Eddie Brock. What about it? You know.
He's just very chill and relaxed. He's always got like a Led Zeppelin shirt on. Or Rolling Stones.
I'd actually like to see that Spider-Man 3. Just redo Spider-Man 3. Just insert it. Just digitally put Hyde in place of him. I'd be willing to see that. Whatever happened? Does he still make TV?
I don't know, because the only movie I can really think of him as are movies that are like kind of like The Faculty, and
Who was he in The Faculty?
he's one of those kids that I think that sells drugs. He has like a small bit role. He's not one of the main characters.
Yeah.
But he's in that. I don't know.
But anyway. Another movie thing that actually... Marley originally wanted to talk about this, but just, given scheduling, he can't be here, so... But might as well, because something going on. This is like about... I guess this news is about a week old or so, but there's the whole J.J. Abrams directing Star Wars thing now.
Huh?
There's a whole thing
Sorry.
about J.J. Abrams directing Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I think that's a good choice. He did a really good job in Star Trek. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you could do Star Trek, you
People are fucking like blown out of proportion. Like, oh, he's gonna be putting lens flares every 5 seconds. It's like until you really point it out, I didn't really notice the lens. I mean, I noticed the lens flares, but I never. It's not like
those are some of those things, like, until somebody really points it out, you go, oh, there's a couple lens flares.
Yeah.
Lens flares are a natural thing in the environment.
Yeah.
If a camera gets in the right proximity of the sun, it makes a lens flare. You're just kind of like one of those ones, like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
It's the sun.
Well, it's more like he used them like on aboard the the Starship Enterprise and all that kind of shit. He used them a lot. I'm not defending.
I've seen
it.
that movie like fucking 10 times, and it never bothered me once. I never
Never
even thought
bothered
about that.
Are you like fucking albino? Are you super light sensitive or something? If that bothers you that much, lens flares from a movie. So.
Light bothers me. I already am light sensitive, and that didn't bother me in the movie. So go
I don't
figure.
know. Some people are just bitching about that, and that's people just looking to bitch. I think.
I don't know. I think he'll do a good job. I mean, if you had to choose anybody out, like modern directors,
Well, it's one of those.
I don't know. I'd probably say like I don't know.
He makes
I'm
sense.
trying to think of somebody who could be better. I'm like, I don't think so.
He makes sense, I think. I guess it's one of the part of me. I mean, I'm not pissed off. I think that he's a good choice because I think he will come up with a good movie. I'd be curious to see what I wish I could take credit for this one, but actually, I heard Marley say, I'm like, that's a good point. I like to see Edgar Wright take a stab at doing a Star Wars film.
I think he could do a cool one.
Edgar Wright.
Doing a fucking Lando only movie.
Lando only movie. Yeah, now they're doing a bunch of they're going to be doing a bunch of spin-off movies. They talked about a Yoda movie. They talked about...
I think that's just cool, because to me, it's just one of those ones, like, they should really just let people fucking have at it with Star Wars movies, and just, like, I mean, make George Lucas, like, approve them and stuff, so it doesn't get, like, hog wild, but who wouldn't want to see 3 Star Wars movies a year, and they all just focus on something random and different?
Like, Lando movie would be pretty badass. You have to get some different actor, but I'd
Boba Fett movie.
Who don't want to see Boba Fett?
Everybody wants to see the Boba Fett movie.
Yeah, Boba Fett movie. Lando. I'm down for that. They
The
said
Dash
Job.
Randar- they should make the Shadows of the Empire movie. That'd be fucking amazing.
They said the whatchamacallit, the Jabba the Hutt movie. I'm like, that seems kind of stretching it, but we'll see what happens.
Just like
It's
like
like
what the day-to-day routines of a big fat guy that like has a bunch of slaves.
No, or is it gonna be like the fucking Tony Mon? Was he thin at one point in time? Maybe I don't know.
That's just what wealth does. Be like, oh, horse, eat off.
I'll be a whole movie in subtitles. So I'm surprised he's like, just be like, we don't want to see him make a movie with people with the subtitles. Shit. That thing. That thing gets its own movie right there. That's when they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I know you pull it like around. That's like kind of like sometimes like. Do you remember that Star Wars card game from the 90s?
I never played it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, that game was like fucking confused. It's like you have like Pokemon that's pretty easy to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Magic, which it's not that difficult. I mean, it's got more to it than Pokemon, but it's pretty easy. And then you got fucking Star Wars, which is like the most complicated fucking thing ever. I don't know why they made that one like really difficult. And I remember that like you could flip through those cards. Back in the day, you just bought cards because they're cool, man. You look, you and like there was like literally, if you got enough cards, you fucking had like a flips book of like the movie. If you lined them up all right.
And just had some of the more miscellaneous characters.
It's kind of like with action figures, too. They always made, like, really random action figures.
They did. I remember, because I started, when I was a kid, that's what I spent most of my money on. Like, from probably the 3rd grade up until the 5th grade. That's what I spent all my money on, was Star Wars. And after a while, it's like, well, I got all the different Lukes. I got all the, all right, time to start building up the fucking bar crowd from Mos Eisley.
Yeah, it's like, I guess.
Or Jabba's Palace. You know, I always use those guys. It was always good because, you know, I would always end up going, like, you know, like in between the movies or something like that, or beforehand. So it would always be
doing.
Yeah, and this would be like, all right, well, this was, I guess this over here was like the fucking like bounty hunter or something like that. So.
Well, yeah, remember they had the Luke and like the water tube thing, and it was kind of like,
Just
as a kid, you're
shit.
like, I don't know if I want Luke in like his underwear, fucking.
Yeah. I remember they had that. That was
as a kid, you're like, is that what I really want? Probably your parents are like, really, you chose that Luke, have all the other Lukes?
I mean, if you chose Prince Slave Leia, I get that, but, you know.
But, yeah, look, there's fully clothed Luke. No, Mom, I want the Luke with underwear.
Yeah. No, and then there was also, those are like the smallest fucking variants, just anything to make money. They had the one that was like a R2-D2, and they had R2-D2 with all his little compartments open, things sticking
like
out.
Like he's been electrocuted.
Yeah, just like, really? Okay, whatever.
I remember they made, like, they started making some really cool ones, like, towards, like, the turn of the century, like, those ones that would cost you, like, back then, like, $20, they'd probably be, like, $40 now. Mm-hmm. But, those ones are, like, extraordinarily detailed, like, those R2-D2s, you could, like, really, like, you could, like, move all the parts in and out, and the head fucking turned and lit up and everything.
Remember R2-D2, just a normal R2-D2 that was, like, the size of the other figures, is the hardest thing to find for me. I don't know why, it just was.
Yeah, it was a really popular one, was the R2-D2 one. I don't have one of those.
It was kind of like when you were a kid, finding, like, the standard, just, like, if you had an action figure of your favorite superhero, though you can always find like the variants. You can never find. No, I just want to find normal Batman. Just where's normal? I don't need the snow variant. I don't need like flamethrower jetpack. Where's the fucking normal one? You know?
Yeah, I know because you I don't know what it is, but like as a kid, you don't want. I don't know. It's kind of like Street Fighter. When I play Street Fighter, I don't want to fucking like. I'm fine with the regular Ryu costume. I mean, every once in a while, I guess, but it's like I don't want to be like yellow Ryu, or I don't want to be like green fucking Ken.
You're about to have a seizure? You're shaking your phone around.
I want to show you a cool picture.
Oh, okay.
Look at that picture.
Barack Obama firing a gun. I saw something on like Yahoo.
Isn't that badass?
Yes, Yahoo, not Google.
Yeah, Republicans don't think that's actually Barack Obama.
They don't think so?
No, they don't believe that guy firing a gun is actually Barack Obama.
He has a stand-in, what? That shit's photoshopped or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, oh, you can't do that. You know what's really weird? Barack Obama sent me this today, though, too. He didn't shoot. He didn't send me the picture shooting the gun. Hey, Spence,
you never gave me that $3.
This is badass. I'm trained to kill you. Fucking, it's just $3.
It's like fucking surviving the game.
My wife said she would sleep with you for $3. $3.
He's just fucking riding up, chasing after you on a bicycle. $3. $3.
Oh, well, whatever.
Get up to the mountains. He chases after you on skis on the bike.
There was this message though that it was sent from Barack Obama. He's just like, okay, we gotta kind of send this out to everybody you know. We gotta spread the word that gun violence is bad. But look at what the picture. This is the one he sent. This is what Barack Obama sent. Read that.
He sent a Ronald Reagan post?
Yeah, it's a Ronald Reagan. Like, I believe that guns for hunting and sport is cool, but I don't think anybody needs a fucking AK-47. But that's what the goddamn communists use. Ronald Reagan. Yeah. It just seems really weird that,
he would post.
Barack Obama's using.
I guess he's trying to reach out to the Republicans.
I think that's what he's trying to do. He's like, Spence, send this to all your Republican friends.
All my fucking, they're not gonna fucking listen regardless.
They'll be like, oh.
I like Obama. He's a politician, so I don't feel like I can completely trust any politician really, but I do like him. Mm-hmm. But it's I know this is a repeat of just like kind of like the election podcast we're doing, but quickly sum up though, I'm just so fucking tired of people just going after him just on the stupidest shit and just like the most black and white bullshit ever. Somebody like a friend of mine who's fairly Republican. I mean, I got like Republicans with sense, but this one is just like fuck, just posting retarded shit. Like he posted a little like comic strip of him like signing like some like, okay, thank you, I got tanks, rocket launch. You see him like signing a contract. I got all these tanks and rocket launchers for the Muslim Brotherhood. Thank you very much. You know, then you see him go to America. It's like, oh, sorry, you can't have any guns. Talking to just an average Joe American. It's like, fuck. Yes, he's trying to lower American defenses so he can have them Muslims invade. That's exactly what he's fucking doing.
It's like it's not like all the thing is like this thing's like they're gonna take all my guns. It's like, well, one, what the fuck are you doing with all these guns anyways? Like when was the last time you're like, you know what? I need a fucking rocket launcher to shoot that deer. Or secondly, you know what? I'm a fucking horrible shot. You know what I mean? I can't kill a deer in 1 or 2 bullets. That takes skill. Give me 32 and double the magazine for crying out loud. It's time to fuck some shit up.
The NRA, time to fuck some shit up. No, but a friend of mine who is fairly conservative, and I understand where he's coming from in this aspect, but it's like I guess the one thing I can kind of understand from the gun NRA perspective is if you legally bought these guns, not the illegal guns, but if you bought the illegal guns and these guns are about to make illegal, I think you should get reimbursed for what they're about to take from you. Because I have a friend who's a big gun fan. He says if they reimburse me for buying this gun, which I bought legally, I am fine. But if they don't, I'm gonna be pretty fucking pissed off.
Yeah, what they should do is they should do that. That's definitely true. That's a very like good way to go about it. Like, yeah, reimburse everybody. Be like, okay, yeah, give it up or I don't know. Still, the one thing about this though is like, yeah, you can take away that, but here's the thing: it's the people that commit crimes generally, not everybody, generally. Just they don't get their guns legally, you know what I mean?
That's true, but at the same time...
I mean, then again, there is evidence that some people do get them legally, sort of, but...
Recently, last year, yeah.
Yeah, recently, last year, they've been getting it legally, so like, fuck it, I'm gonna die, who cares if I get it legally or not?
Yeah. Well, I think the whole thing is, that whole aspect is just more like, not so much gun law, just more I guess, better background checks and all that. Like, alright, are you living with a fucking psychopath?
Well, it's just one's like it's just like with like getting a driver's license. They make it just so easy in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more like I feel that's how the gun test is. I mean, if I want to go get a gun right now, I just go to fucking Big 5 and I can walk out there with a shotgun probably in 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like
they don't have that 3-day wait period anymore.
That's for handguns.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, and here's the thing, too. It's like, yeah, I know handguns are more concealed, but a fucking shotgun's gonna do a lot more damage than a handgun.
Just whenever I think about people going to buy guns, first thing that comes to mind, there's that episode of The Simpsons where Homer finally gets a gun.
Oh, yeah, the one where he wants to protect himself.
Where he's just using it for every little thing, and he goes to, like, the shop owner. I don't know what the character's actual name is, but he's just a guy. You just see him doing miscellaneous jobs in Springfield, and he was always the most bored voice. And he says, like, all right, there's going to be a 3-day waiting period for you to get the gun. He's all like, are you serious? Like, yep, I'm serious. If I had my gun right now, I'd shoot you. Yeah, well, you don't.
No, I love that part. That's what I do where, like, he's in the fucking...
You see the guy just straightening papers after he just threatened his fucking life.
That's what I do where he's just, like, using the gun to, like, change the channels and everything.
He opens his beer with his gun, just shoots down. And he's like, Marge, I got a surprise for you. Open your eyes. There's the gun pointed right at her fucking face.
That's a good one.
But yeah, all this gun, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
I understand.
This is how I feel. Guns are cool. Don't get me wrong. They're fun, but they're not like. I don't think they're the most practical for just regular people that own. I don't know how many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When was the last time you just went like, man, if I just had my gun, on that walk home from school, I could get myself some dinner when that little squirrel walks by.
That's a good point.
Or if that Muslim fucking jumps up behind the tree.
Yeah, the Muslims. Yeah,
with his dick in one hand to throw me off.
I've yet to encounter that. I'm kind of waiting for it. I'm kind of prepared. Like, today's going to be the day. A Muslim with his dick in his hand is going to come at me. I know it.
Well, that probably throw you off. That fucking guy jumped out behind the tree, had a gun in one hand and his dick in the other.
You would be fucking scared. Like, put 2 and 2 together.
Like, which one is he going to shoot me with?
Yeah. Both. Oh, shit. Please let me be the gun
Just
first.
shoot a wad in my eye and then I won't be able to see.
You're blinded. It throws you off. No, parts of the gun argument I understand. I mean, from the gun owner's perspective, I get that. I think if they're going to take these guns, which you bought legally, you should be reimbursed.
Yeah, reimbursed, just like anything else.
But beyond that,
I probably assume that. If they really were going to take away guns like that, I think they would reimburse them.
And a lot of times the NRA would just throw a bunch of shit out there just to fucking scare people and get them angry about that. Like, was that?
No, because that's the thing. Is they threw most of that's like propaganda stuff. Because probably I bet you, just like anything else, like, I mean, they fucking reimbursed you on bringing in your old, like, 6 miles to the gallon cars if you wanted to. So I bet you they reimburse you on your guns. You just gotta, most people just get lazy and are like, well, I don't want to fucking take it in. That just sounds like work. They don't come to me and do it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I got a
This
gun.
is America, goddammit.
I got a gun. I don't fucking walk anymore. I just shoot bullets into the ground and like kind of hop to the next destination.
He sits like in an office chair with wheels and just shoots.
Like
uses
a
the
shotgun
momentum.
blast, boom.
Uses the momentum to go from place to place. For some reason, he's welcomed at Walmart, but nowhere else really.
Yeah. Oh, guns.
Damn funny guns. No,
Batman doesn't use guns though.
Batman doesn't use guns because they are loud and clumsy. They are the weapon of the enemy.
Yeah.
Peter Weller would put it.
Exactly. So if Batman doesn't use
Weller,
gun,
right?
what do you need a gun for?
That's what Barack Obama should come out and say. If Batman doesn't use a gun, why the fuck are you using a gun?
I know. What's the point?
Yeah.
Batman. He look all the shit he gets done without a gun.
Whenever you get worked into a corner, it's something kind of tests you morally. And they say, what do you think? Like, well, Batman wouldn't fucking do that,
How can you argue with that argument?
Yeah, exactly. So,
be like, oh, well, I never thought of it like that. I think I changed my opinion right now.
Yeah. Batman did it, because they got all this religious stuff. Like, what if Jesus was aborted? I guess but suddenly if you put, like, what if Batman was aborted?
If Jesus was aborted, just shows, like, the 3 mangers of a fucking, like, clothes hanger.
I guess the one thing to get me going to that, like, what if Batman was aborted? Like, let me think about that. That is pretty serious.
Yeah. Well, you just put the stakes up like no other.
Yeah, if it was Batman. But beyond that, though, it's like, I don't know. Their choice.
Probably fucking Dick Grayson as Batman.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
See,
Dick Grayson
we got that solved.
He probably would have never been Batman, though. He probably would have been, like, probably would have stayed Robin or Nightwing.
Yeah. Or if, like,
Robin.
Superman showed up, be like, yo, be Nightwing.
Yeah, be Super Wing, Be Super Wing or whatever.
I was fucking Nightwing at one point in time. You be Nightwing. Fuck it, I don't need it. I'm Superman.
What do you call him? Was he Nightwing at one point in time?
Yeah, because that comes from his planet. Like, it was like him and I want to say Kara was this other. There's something else. Mm-hmm. There's one of those things I read out, like that Batman encyclopedia. It's like, wow, informative. I never knew this.
I never knew that either.
that thing.
Well, I knew after you told me. I knew.
Yeah, it's like, oh, so it's a fucking Superman term. Huh? Go figure.
Yeah. Works though.
No, it does. Batman.
Oh man. But no.
Did you get any movies recently?
The newest movie I got was Seven Psychopaths and Batman Dark Knight Returns Part 2. What
the fuck did I get? Didn't I get new movies? I can't remember. Maybe I just watched them.
You're asking the wrong person. I haven't seen you like in 2 weeks aside from last week's podcast.
What the fuck did I get?
Yeah.
I've been watching movies. Mm-hmm. Oh, I just got the Jurassic Park thing on Blu-ray. We talked about that, though.
We talked about that briefly. You talked about like...
So fucking awesome. Looks so good, though. It's just one of those ones, like, the quality. Because, on the DVD, it's just like... Because whenever they take a movie, and it's like, they put the movie and all the fucking special features on one disc, it's like, it's never going to look very good. There's just no way to do it. And they did have, like, a bunch of Steven Spielberg movies. They did have Jaws. They did have Saving Private Ryan. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. It's like, it's Steven Spielberg. Doesn't he deserve 2 discs? Mm-hmm. It's just a sign. Steven Spielberg. Doesn't he deserve 2 discs? Clearly not. Somebody's like, no, cheaping out on that fucker. He gets everything else in life. He's not getting 2 discs.
I'm sure he's not losing any sleep over that.
No, he probably doesn't give a fuck. He's like, oh, whatever, fucking
I made that fucking movie like 40 years ago. Who gives a fuck?
Fucking, you'll buy it again?
Yeah. They always buy it again.
Ask George.
He was actually
Star Wars. They keep buying it.
He was kind of copying George Lucas's style for a little while, just kind of planning on re-releasing everything. But then South Park on his ball say, "Don't do it." He says, "You're right."
I fucked up.
Yeah, I guess anything they worked on together, it's kind of like, all right, well, it's both of ours, so I gotta kind of do it the George way. But anything else though, it just seemed everything else though. Because for a while he started to re-release shit because he brought out E.T. and they had the whole bit with they replaced the guns with the walkie-talkies. Which that was apparently Drew Barrymore pushed that. Oh no, that's true. But that's what I heard.
I can't for some reason. It was like Steven Spielberg just fucking slapping her upside the head, like "fuck you, bitch."
He seems too nice.
He seems too nice. I don't know. Steven Spielberg just seems like one of the nicest guys. I cannot imagine him getting really angry.
Yeah. And then he re-released E.T. and then they were talking about re-releasing Jaws and all that. And like, nah, we're not gonna fucking do that.
What were they gonna put in Jaws?
I don't know. Like, Robot Chicken had a genius skit on that. He's just like, originally the shark didn't work, so there's a lot more we want to do.
Before.
You see, like, Jaws chasing people on the beach with a fucking chainsaw.
Or a chainsaw, yeah.
Then you see, he's like, "I got you, you son of a bitch." Fires the gun, and then all of a sudden, like, it explodes.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Then like explodes like a fucking Death Star.
Be fucking awesome.
No, but Now that I'm kind of curious to know what's going to. Speaking of Jurassic Park, I'm curious to see what happens to Jurassic Park 4 because now that's apparently back in the works.
Well, I think that's kind of why they re-released, sort of in a sense. I think that's why that Jurassic Park is coming out in April in 3D. It's just more like to be like, remember, because Jurassic Park kind of gets forgotten. It's like one of those ones like.
It's like Freddy Krueger. They got to remember it for it to get his power back.
I don't know. There's something about dinosaurs just not nearly popular with like.
In the 90s, it was super popular.
Well, there was a brief period in the 90s where like dinosaurs kind of came back, but it's like. You never see dinosaurs in movies. You almost never see dinosaurs in video games. You never see them in fucking comics, really. It's just like, why? What?
Well, I know it may have done it, though, now I think about it. I mean, this goes back... This is still on dinosaurs, but I just... You said they're back, and I was thinking movie, we're back, and I just remember that...
I don't think anybody remembers that movie. I don't think that ruined the dinosaurs if that's what you're thinking.
Well, I think that was kind of like... I don't know, because that... Maybe
that was like where Steven Spielberg, like, anybody who's making a fucking dinosaur name, he's like, put my name on there. You'll believe me, it'll sell better.
Trust me.
Fucking animate me in there somewhere too. Like I'll be fucking.
He was
running.
Animated in there.
Yeah, there's a part where like everybody's like running and he's got like a Jurassic Park hat on or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that movie. I remember being a kid and loving that movie. And usually when you love something as a kid, like it's not as good, but it still kind of holds up. Two movies that I loved as a kid but do not hold up whatsoever is Space Jam and We're Back. I remember I was watching TV with my nephews like probably about a few months ago.
Space Jam was on.
Not Space Jam. I've seen that movie a billion times. I remember that movie pretty well. But We're Back was on. And
I watched that movie like a year ago or something like that.
I'm like, oh, let's watch this. I put it on. I'm like, oh, that's right. They sing. I forgot about that.
Well, okay, whatever. I guess we'll man up and watch it.
And no one's freaking out at the part when the fucking dinosaurs, they all start
fucking dancing in town.
In town. Literally, there's like, oh, it's a robot. One of the dinosaurs picks the kid up in the street, throws him up in the air, and just keeps on going on or whatever. No one's freaking the fuck out about that, you know? It's just, I know it's a kid's cartoon, whatever.
But still, I want some realism in this kid's cartoon.
I want some realism in this movie about talking dinosaurs. That's all I'm fucking saying.
I think the better cartoon of the dinosaur ones is the Land Before Time one.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah, the first one. That's what I'm talking about.
Because they started doing that. They had that huge wave of all those.
Well, that's actually before Jurassic Park, though. That's 1989.
Yeah, that was. I remember I loved that movie when I was a kid. And that one, I haven't seen that movie in so long, but...
I have both those ones on VHS.
They have like 28 or something on DVD.
Yeah, now they have like a buttload of them, but...
Yeah.
Still, I don't know. Hopefully this... It's like, I don't know, but the dinosaurs... Why aren't dinosaurs in more things? Because you know what? Like, I think dinosaurs need to be in more video games. Because personally, what's scarier than a dinosaur? You tell me. What is scarier than a dinosaur?
Let me think.
What is scarier than a velociraptor in your fucking, like, room?
Rush Limbaugh?
He's not as fast, though.
Yes, that's true. He's not as fast.
He's not as fast.
Okay.
Not as fast. You know what I mean? Because Dino Crisis, I thought was one of the coolest fucking games ever. Especially the second
Courtney
one.
Love's pretty scary, though.
She might be almost as fast, but she doesn't have as... I'd say she probably has sharp claws, too. Damn it. But she doesn't probably have as big... Her
probably
head's not as
infect you
big.
with something. Probably infect you with herpes if you just touch her. So.
That's true. But she can't communicate to other people, though. Like the dinosaurs can't.
She can't open doors like a velociraptor can.
And she can't call out for help.
You know, she just...
Because there's no other ones of her kind.
She go, ah, ah, which other crack chorus start coming chasing you down. Just start doing that velociraptor call.
Like that one in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah. Which, you know, I like Jurassic Park 3, but there's some moments in that movie you're like, that is just cheats. You have to zoom in. As soon as they lock that dinosaur in its cage, in the cage or whatever, the velociraptor is going like they get the zoom in on Alan Grant's face. Or like Sam Neill, he's all like, my God, he's calling for help. They had to like stop and explain it to you.
Yeah. I still like Jurassic Park 3 a lot.
I still like that flick. Yeah.
I think it's one of those movies too. I think you appreciate it more if you read the books. Mm-hmm. Just for the fact that it's kind of cool that like what they do is... And
it's everything that didn't make the book, right?
Yeah, it's
kind of
like
the movie.
Well, just about. They just take kind of like a lot of these really cool scenes, generally from the first book, because the second book's actually way shorter than the... As far as shit that goes on, like the movie is really like the Lost World compared to the Lost World the book. Mm-hmm. The movie is actually a way longer story, if that makes any sense. Because the book fucking ends with like when the trailers go over the edge. That's like the end of the book, almost. Because like that, they go over the edge, and then they go pretty much to the helicopter, like in like the Site B kind of like house, and that's it. It's over. Fucking no San Diego. I think San Diego's in it, but it's not like the same. But
so there's no part of T-Rex running through San Diego?
I don't think so. I know there's a San Diego chapter, but I just remember like that was just kind of the end. And there's no like that long part where they join together and they fucking are doing like the like let's get out of the jungle together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Was it did they have a whole army of people with them or anything like that? Or
yeah, the engine. Yeah, they're there. I don't think they seem as big and as like it's not like I really feel like InGen was put in there as like let's make some badass fucking toys.
That's pretty much what I think that thing was, yeah.
Because that's really what it was. Because remember, you could buy like every fucking thing. You buy like the guy on the motorcycle, you get the fucking car, the Humvee with the seat that extends out, you put the sniper guy in there. You think
they got the noose. They threw
you
noose
got the
over,
fucking
like,
noose, and then you got the big
Raptors.
shocker thing that comes down. It's like, get your Republican dinosaur hunting play kit.
I remember that, yeah.
That's kind of what Engine is. It's Republican as fuck.
Republican.
Well, that's really what it is. Just like, there's like, who owns this? We create them. We fucking own them.
Who the fuck are you?
They're living beings. Yeah, not today. They're copyrighted by my fucking,
Well, they're ran by that
uncle
point.
or whatever.
Well, by that point, the John, what's his name? John what?
John Hammond.
John Hammond. By that point, he's no longer in control. Didn't he lose it all to his nephew or some bullshit? Or
Yeah, I think just because he's getting old, his nephew probably
and he didn't. He could have stopped them, but he's like, oh fuck it, kids will be
Maybe his
kids.
nephew came by and tried to suffocate him in the middle of the night. You just signed over to me. I'll let you live, old man.
I don't give a shit. Here you go.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll just be a nice old man. I'll just go on TV and say, Santa Claus says everything's okay.
I forgot about that. He was in that, wasn't he? He was in Miracle 34th
34th
Street. Yeah.
I think which
that movie has one of the most fucked up endings. There's that whole part where he's just like...
Doesn't have like Matilda was in that movie too?
The girl that played Matilda, she was also Mrs. Doubtfire. She was in that. Yeah. She's the youngest daughter of Mrs. Doubtfire. And there's the part at the end, because when you're a kid, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's nice. But when you stop and think about it, you're like, that's fucked up. Happens at the end. She all of a sudden, the moms they're walking through the house, and like, oh, Santa Claus got this house. This is amazing. Then all of a sudden, like, the mom just puts her hand on her stomach. She feels weird. She says, what else did you ask Santa for? Like, a baby brother? Santa Claus fucked her at night. That house wasn't for free. He fucked the girl's mom in that movie.
Wow.
If you think about it, because she says, I also wanted the baby brother. And she, like, puts her hand on her stomach, and she's like, looking at her.
Yeah, fucking Santa came in here.
When
Weighs
he took
400 fucking pounds.
He took way more than some milk and cookies.
Mom, why do you have all those bruises on your face? Oh, Santa likes it rough. You just started punching me as...
They say he's talking about going back to his dinosaur
And then
island.
he tied me down and he let all fucking 9 reindeers go at it.
Miracle on 69th Street.
I was just reindeer raped. It was a reindeer gangbang.
Cut. All right, I think we just lost that PG rating.
That's okay. Who made... what the fuck's... I forgot the actor's name.
Is he
Something
dead?
Rosenberg. No, I don't think so. He's still alive.
I thought he died.
Oh, maybe he did. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But still, fucking the whole point of this is that fucking what is scarier than a dinosaur? That's why I always thought, like, and you never see dinosaurs in video games. Like, they had Dino Crisis 1, which was a really sweet game. Dino Crisis 2, which was a fucking amazing game.
I think it was kind of the I think, like, the media and all that, oversaturation of just dinosaur shit, because there's some good dinosaur stuff, but there's also a lot of shit that just kind of came out around that same time.
I guess I'm trying to think of, like, I mean, as far as video games go, like, that was really about it, is dinosaurs. I mean, other than the Jurassic Park games themselves, almost, unless it's Turok, that's about the only other thing that's got dinosaurs in it.
There's Dino Crisis.
I just said Dino Crisis.
Did you say Dino Crisis?
I said Dino Crisis 1, too.
Oh, okay. Well, number 3 was apparently the bad one.
Yeah, number 3, it's one's like...
When you take it into space.
Okay, it's not the space aspect that ruins it. It's just got, like, fucking weird-ass controls.
Oh,
like, they changed it up all the way. It's just like, why the fuck is it not Resident Evil controls anymore? You fucking fuck.
Was it like a first-person shooter or something?
No, it's still third person, but it's just weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't move the way you'd want it to move.
No. Them bastards.
I know, because at first I was like, when I bought that game, I was like, you know what? I got it for like $6 or something. Like, I don't care about the fucking dinosaurs and space shit. We don't get enough dinosaurs. I'll accept any dinosaur you give me. It's kind of like westerns in video games. It's like, I don't care. You can have like a medieval western. I'd fucking accept it. I don't really care. There's not enough westerns out there.
Well, there's that guy who actually, he's got his own virgin. I'm forgetting his actual name.
The guy who's like, I do everything.
He does everything. He wants to make the Titanic. His plan is to make a genetically engineered dinosaur and have it in front of his hotel.
And ride it.
I guess maybe for a spare couple million, you could probably fucking ride it. But yeah, that guy.
I really have to give it to that guy, though, because that guy really does just live the life. It's just like, he just does cool shit. But he doesn't do, like, almost, like, stupid shit. It almost sounds cool shit. Like, yeah, dude, if I had a lot of money, I'd fucking do that, too.
You'd make the Titanic again?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Let's make the Titanic. We'll put a fucking dinosaurs on that ship.
Dinosaur petting zoo. What can go wrong out in the middle of the Atlantic with a fucking dinosaur
Dino-tanic.
Oh, boy.
But still, it's like, I don't know why in video games. I mean, like, movies is one thing. I mean, like, but video games. Why? Why is dinosaurs?
I'm kind of going back. I'm trying to think back on like when was the last time I saw a dinosaur in a video game.
Yeah, okay, that's not Turok, that's not Jurassic Park, and that's not Dino Crisis.
All right. Sonic and the Secret Ring. That was kind of a mistake. Let's see here. You fight guys in dinosaur suits in Scott Pilgrim the game.
Yeah, you do in Scott Pilgrim the game.
I guess Mario. You got Yoshi.
You know, there's supposed to be like, Scott Pilgrim the game. There's supposed to be like some like new downloadable content that was delayed again for that game. You know, that game came out like 2 years ago.
They're still coming out with more downloadable stuff for that game.
Well, they was trying to. They were supposed to come out with, like, you could play as Wallace, and then there's something else. And I just saw it on like the internet. I was like, oh, huh, that's kind of cool.
Knives or something like that.
No, Knives came out like at the beginning.
Well, playable or just as a summon?
Just playable.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I have that on mine.
Oh, I never played as Knives. Okay. Always either played as Stills or Scott.
But yeah, but still, think about just video games. I mean, like a serious game too. Not like a kid's game. I'm talking about like a full on, just a real game, real dinosaurs. This shit's real. People are dying.
Oh, Tekken has a raptor with boxing gloves.
Yeah, but that makes it safe because he's got boxing gloves. If he didn't have boxing gloves on, it might be unsafe.
Let me think here. I'm looking at my games over here, and
exactly.
I honestly can't think of any.
Exactly.
Really.
It's just I don't know why. You see 1,000 zombie games, you see 1,000 Nazi games, you see 1,000 Middle Eastern games. Where the fuck is the dinosaurs? You fucking fight robots.
Send this into Ubisoft
aliens.
if you start complaining, like all the major video game producers, like, where the fuck are the dinosaurs? Just,
I just don't think dinosaurs are like nearly as popular as they used to be.
You know, some asshole sent a petition to the government on. Well, there's 2 petitions. One petition was awesome. They sent a thing saying, "Make a Death Star, please make a Death Star." It got enough signatures to warrant, like, yes, the president has to acknowledge this. Yeah. They turned down making a Death Star, but the fact that actually got sent is amazing. Now, someone else
complained about Devil May Cry.
And complained about the way Dante looked, and for that it was a slap in the face, and they did not want the game coming to America. It was just like, are you fucking serious? So
here's the thing.
Do that with your dinosaurs. It might work.
This is all I have to say.
More dinosaurs, Mr. President.
If fucking Devil May Cry 5, I guess it is, never came to America, there would never be a Devil May Cry 6, because I don't think it'd make enough money to fucking pay back Devil May Cry 5.
No.
Sometimes that's kind of how it is. Even if a game, you don't like it nearly as much, if it doesn't get enough money, that game might just fucking vanish and go away forever.
Like Bruce Willis at the end of Looper.
Yeah, exactly. He might just vanish and go away forever.
Yeah. Well, they might do what something revolving video games and
fucking.
I just drew a blank guy. Yeah. Anyway.
See, you know what I mean? Like, why can't even in Mass Effect? Why can't you land on a planet that has fucking dinosaurs?
They got probably dinosaur-like creatures there. I'm guessing, right?
No, they don't have dinosaur-like creatures.
No dino creatures.
It's just one of those ones. Like
they had jellyfish things floating around. Remember that in the first level?
Fucking
you can kill it if you're an evil bastard. Like, oh yeah, they're just mind their business. If you want to go up to it, you can kill it. You know, if you feel like being a prick.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I never did that. I always feel bad. I never feel bad about killing people. But like in Fallout or anything, if there's just an animal going by, I'd feel bad if I had to kill it. But if there's people, I don't care.
I still just gonna feel bad in Metroid because really, what you're on this planet, and really like 90% of these creatures are fucking minding their own business. They're just trying to enjoy life and go around in a circle and harvest and stuff. And you just come in and you shoot the fucking shit out of everything in there. And you're like, oh,
make a platform.
How do I get through this door? I don't know, fucking shoot it. Dude, there's something stuck behind this rock. I don't know, fucking put a bomb there. You really come across as like, Samus come across as fucking cunt that just shows up on planets and just destroys all the life, fucking blows up shit everywhere, shooting everything known to mankind just to figure it out.
Well, Samus, you know you're a real fucking bitch. You know that, right? Yeah, well, my family was murdered by a flying pterodactyl from space, so it's okay. You got a point.
That keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Over and over again. It was
Ridley, right?
I think it's like every game. Yeah, Ridley.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, though, like...
In the new game,
I
did
heard,
he talk?
Like, you know when you're a kid and you can only, like, accept one name?
Uh-huh.
Sounds weird. Like, there could only be one. I just remember getting Ridley... It was, like, Ridley Scott and Ridley from Metroid. And I almost pictured it as the same thing.
Just like fucking Ridley Scott's face
fucking wings
on like a big purple pterodactyl from space.
Yeah.
Does fucking Ridley talk in the new one, or I guess Other M being the newest one?
No, I don't think so.
I was kind of curious because they have this long blood feud.
I don't think fucking Ridley's in that one.
Really?
Or maybe it is. I don't know. I can't remember. They start to all running it after a while, just like everything else in life.
Yeah. I was just curious because that was the one they actually had actually started adding dialogue to it and all that. So.
Yeah, that was like the first one to really have more dialogue. The other ones have like a tad bit. Like the Prime ones.
I've only played a little bit of the Prime ones. That's about it.
Prime 1 is really cool. Mm-hmm. I like that one a lot. That's Prime 1.
I kind of hate that you had all the backtracking. You had to go back and get all your shit after a while. Because I mean, if you don't have it from the get-go, fine. But I hate when they give you all this cool shit and they take it away. I just always...
Well, I think they just kind of... The reason why I think they do that, like, this isn't a video game sense, is when they give it to you, it gives you, like, okay, I get to play around with all this stuff and figure out the controls. It makes it just a little bit easier to get used to the gameplay. Mm-hmm. And then they can take it away from you once you kind of figure out how to play the game. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's kind of... Well, one thing's kind of not just after a while. Assassin's Creed 1, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, I personally would just say, like, just start me off bare bones and let me just find everything.
That's kind of how I feel.
I mean, I know no matter what, you gotta find shit. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's some things, like, I remember, like, Metroid Prime 2, it's like one of those ones, like, can't I just start off all the regular stuff and just let me find a bunch of new shit, you know what I mean? Like, give me, like, the fucking morph ball, give me the missile, you know, I don't need to give me the super missile or anything special like that, or none of my extra guns or visors. But just give me the simple, like, basic crap, you know? Like Metroid Prime 2, the one for fucking Game Boy, that does it right. You start off with the missiles and the morph ball already.
What pissed me off about it, though, I'm not trying to be like Mr. Like, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, because that was a fun game. But the thing that kind of pissed me off is, after a while, you in the dark world, and your suit, I mean, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, but if I remember correctly, you eventually didn't, you always had to go underneath some little umbrella thing in the dark world, otherwise you'd be killed. Yeah. And that just...
You weren't killed, just your health went down.
Your health would go down. And
it really know what it is? It fucking reminds you so much, like, of, even though, like, Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, but, fucking... The Skyward Sword, like, they have stuff, like, just like that. You know, like, in Skyward Sword, when you have to, like, go to, like, that dark world thing, and you have to run, there's those guys that come out and try to rape you?
Yeah.
Like, that reminds me so much of Metroid Prime 2.
Well, it probably doesn't happen throughout the whole game, though.
No, that's not, like, yeah, in Metroid Prime 2, it's like, that's, like, the other half of the game. It's not that big of a deal, because after a while, once you get the dark suit, then it doesn't really do that much damage to you. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of cool, because then when you go under those things, you do heal.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those ones that just kind of feels like a game. It's just, like, it's kind of more the same. I don't know. Probably one of my least favorite Metroids is that second one. Mm-hmm. Just because it's kind of like, it's more of the same. Like, I don't know, the like, light world, dark world thing, that always seems kind of like a sort of cheaper way to, like, make a bigger game out of a smaller game.
Metroid was never really one of my favorite series. I mean, I think it's a decent series. I mean, I'm not trying to be like the guy just, like, shitting on it. I just never really played it that much. I had Prime 1, and I liked it. Prime 2, I didn't finish it, but I remember enjoying what I played, but I was irritated by the whole fucking bubble thing you had in Dark World. Yeah,
that didn't bother me too much, but it's just more just like going back and forth. It's kind of like, oh, okay. I guess it's kind of, I've seen it before, and then just kind of comes across to me as like, oh, you just slapped this together to make you can make a twice as long game by doing that, just about. But, I don't know, Metroid's become one of those series. I think it's like one of those ones, like, I feel like you almost enjoy it more, like, the older you get. Like, because I remember as a kid, I was like, oh, yeah, Metroid, that's cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. And stuff, I didn't think of it as, like, the best Nintendo series, but I actually think of that series as one of my top 5 favorite series, maybe top 10, you know, in that ballpark range. Mm-hmm. Like, I really like it.
As far as Nintendo series goes, I really think we need to come out with more Star Fox.
Yeah, I don't know why that never capitalized on Star Fox. Like, Star Fox 64...
Especially for the Wii, you know?
Star Fox 64 did so good.
I think it's...
That was one of the most beloved... I mean, you could talk to people that don't even fucking play video games. And you mentioned, like, dude, remember Star Fox for the 64? They're like, oh my god.
My friend had it in 64, but we played whenever it went over. Yeah, you hear that a lot. And then, but I'm surprised it never jumped on it for the Wii. I mean, and people hated it.
Jump on it for I mean, like the GameCube had that one, the Star Fox Assault, which was actually kind of cool. I mean, it's no Star Fox 64, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
and they had Star Fox Adventures.
The only thing, well, we like to forget Adventures, but the one thing with Assault, I thought just something that's always annoyed me about Star Fox. You know, it's a trope of Star Fox, but it's just always like, Fox, help me out! Everybody, you could be on the ground with nothing but a blaster. Your friends be flying out there in space around you.
Like, yo, use that fucking pistol you got and take me down. Or help me out, Fox, you ass.
Yeah, exactly. The fuck are you doing down there? Like, I didn't mind the ground missions. And granted, you play Star Fox primarily for the flying around shooting missions, but just strictly in the sense, Assault, I thought was a fun game. It was amazing.
No, that's what I thought it was too. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's like the most amazing. Really, what they should really just do, though, is they should just, like, I don't know. I know Nintendo doesn't really like to make the same thing twice. Mm-hmm. Like, Metroid Prime 2 is kind of like...
Or the new Super Mario Bros. Series.
Yeah, there's some things they do, but, like, really, if you just took Star Fox 64, made, like, a sequel to it, and made it pretty much only flying, put a couple tank missions in, maybe a submarine mission. No, keep the ground. I just think you should just keep the... I mean, like... ground missions are for other games. We got Zelda and Metroid for ground missions. You know what I mean? Just keep it pretty much flying 90% of the time. A little bit of tank, a little bit of, like, submarine. And just making that same style where, like, you choose different paths. Make it like an arcade game so it only takes, like, an hour to beat. But you got you just got all these different paths to go, and I think it'd be fucking awesome.
The one thing I can say about the whole ground missions, though, something that worked out pretty good about that, not tanks, like running by foot. Those always, they at least played very similar to how you would like the tank, or just just running and just blasting. You're just kind of pushing forward, just holding A lot. That's kind of what you're doing a lot of the time. So at least played similar. It wasn't like suddenly like playing like different. Sonic Unleashed, where it's like, yes, this is everything I want, and everything you never wanted. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, it's slow.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to hit shit.
And it's fucking just annoying. Yeah.
But no, it's just like, I don't know why Star Fox has never been capitalized on enough. And I think another game series that they haven't capitalized on enough is
very
Earthbound.
Yeah, they had one.
Because I think
sequel, right?
I understand that back in the day, or like 10 years ago, like Earthbound was still pretty unknown. But ever since Super Smash Brothers, everybody
people have been curious
knows.
about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it's like in Earthbound 1, that game's fucking awesome. Or I guess Earthbound 2 technically, the one for Super Nintendo is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? And
they ever come out with 3?
Yeah, it's for the Game Boy Advance.
Oh, okay.
I have like the translated version and everything because it was only in Japan too. Which is
it like the real translation, or is it like a fanboy doing like having them say "fuck" and cocksucker?
No, it's one of those ones where like somebody literally. It's not a real translation, but it's a very like fan made, but like very like well made one. It's the best of the best.
Because that's the thing when you get a lot of translated.
Well, that's
stuff.
Back in the day though. That was like back in the olden days where like you get fan translated stuff and it'd just be like they put anything in there. But no, this one's made by people who are fucking like earthbound, like they worship it from the ground up.
Oh, okay.
And it's just because like I don't know why they never released that in the U.S. And it's one of those ones like I don't think you can even download it on the Wii, like on the fucking Wii network, whatever you call that. Yeah. But yeah, it's like that's another series that like I think if Nintendo really wanted to say like, hey, let's make some fucking money. Because the thing about Nintendo fans is that's what they really want. They just want
the same thing a lot of the time.
And you know what I think too is I don't know if this is just how it is. If in Nintendo they only have so much time to make so many things, and you know what I mean.
They seem to focus on like 2 things at a time, and then they maybe have like a C, like their A and B team focus on like these big projects.
Well, I know because like a lot of stuff like
they have their C team.
They hand a lot of stuff off nowadays too. Like because Capcom makes a lot of like the extra Zelda games
and the extra like Mario games or whatever.
Yeah, so
like Mario Tennis and all that kind of stuff. They just
and Sega makes a lot of those, and like then you get things like Retro Studios.
That's trippy when you think of like
American company made fucking Metroid.
Sega making Nintendo games that would make your head explode back in the 90s.
Well, they do have Sonic in them too, I guess. But yeah.
Well,
you know what we really want nowadays? A fucking Sonic / Mario game.
I'm all for that. Yeah.
I mentioned that before, but that can never be mentioned enough.
Yeah, because it hasn't been fucking made yet for some reason.
I know. But I don't know. It's just back to the regular Nintendo like things though. It's just like there's all these things like people see this cool shit like in Super Smash Brothers. We need more of it. You know what I mean? Super Smash Bros. To me reminds me like it really makes you want to play all this other crap. You're like, it's kind of like it's almost like a gateway to fucking Nintendo.
Because back when I first played, I was like, who the fuck is Ness? You know?
No, yeah, I was like, who the fuck? I was like, is that the guy from Harvest Moon? Because like when you're a kid, that's all you knew.
Before I played it, I was talking to a friend on the phone about it. He says, "Oh, dude, it's amazing." This is before you can just go out and buy a game. And whenever I went over to Blockbuster or wherever, they never had a copy, so I had to wait till I went to a friend's house to play it. And he says, "Oh, it's amazing, dude. They have this guy, they have that guy, they have Ness." And first thing came to mind, like the Loch Ness monster from Super Mario 64. Like, no, it's this guy from a Japanese game only or whatever. You know?
That game came out in America, Earthbound.
What? Yeah. Oh wait, yeah. Well, he told me it was Japan only. I didn't know that.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, like it was a pretty rare game to find.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those ones. That's where you kind of learn about a lot of shit. I remember like when we were a kid, like this before you kind of realized rights and stuff. But like they had the fucking proximity mines in there, so I'm like, dude, one of those characters got to be 007.
007, like just socking Mario.
Well, because they had they had the proximity mines, so you're like, that means she's got to be there, right?
Yeah.
Why would they lie to us? That was like the biggest game.
Because clearly 007 is the only thing that have proximity mines.
Well, that's where it comes from, though.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, though. But I mean, like, in general.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, just because they're like that. I mean,
they're
literally the proximity mines from GoldenEye.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Super Smash Bros. Melee. They got.
They changed the design of the mines in that.
No, because they got the perfect dark stuff in that one.
Yeah.
Because Melee came out. No, was Melee before Rare left? I think Melee might have been before Rare. That's one thing I always kind of... Before Rare, like in Melee, it would be cool if Joanna Dark was in that one. But whatever.
Or like some Jet Force Gemini or something.
That would be fucking cool.
Who
the fuck owns Jet Force Gemini, though, now?
I'm assuming Rare... you know what? I think Rare is one of those companies... Like, as soon as their main programmers and all them left, I think, like, what the fuck do we do? Because they had so many great properties that you never saw again, like Jet Force Gemini.
I don't know, because I know Nintendo bought a lot of their shit. But
they just be dicks. Like, yeah, we're not going to do shit with it, you know?
Yeah, I know. Well, because I know the only ones they really didn't buy was Banjo, which is kind of the cool thing, too, is, like, even though it sounds bad, but it sounds like blasphemy nowadays. Or it just sounds like blasphemy in general, but, like, is you can get, like, the Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, like, on the Xbox. Mm-hmm. But they're all kind of, like, the graphics are more enhanced, so it looks smoother and clear, and you can see farther. So it's like, that's kind of cool that at least Rare did that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's just like, who the fuck owns Jet Force Gemini?
Yeah, I always wanted another Jet Force Gemini game.
Because that's one of the coolest games. But that'd be cool. I wish Rare would do that thing they did. Is because they did have Perfect Dark too. When they put it on the Xbox, it was they enhanced all the graphics so you could see really fucking far. Like, so the fog was kind of gone. And like that Xbox version of it's so fucking badass. Mm-hmm. It'd be cool if they did have like Jet Force Gemini and whatever else the fuck they own now.
Mm-hmm. This is actually going back to Mario for a second. But I was just thinking this because we mentioned the whole Ness thing. About the Loch Ness Monster in Mario 64. This is just a very random question, but tell me if you ever heard this rumor. This is one of those like Nintendo rumors. When you're a kid, did you ever hear the one like if you swim too close to the Loch Ness Monster's mouth in the water long enough, the thing fucking eats you? Did you ever hear that rumor?
I think maybe because when you're a kid, there's all this shit that kind of like I don't know if rumors even exist nowadays. Is there even such things as
they're always rumor? Debunked. I mean, unless I think there's kind of like before it comes out, there's rumors, but once it comes out, we know within like a day.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long to know nowadays. It kind of takes all the mystery and surprise.
Yeah, we do kind of that back in the 90s there was a lot of that mystery, kind of like just a lot of the hidden shit in Pokemon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
all those rumors.
There was a lot more mysteries to video games. One thing nowadays, you never see like codes or anything like that anymore, and almost sometimes codes kind of like there was something kind of cool back in the day. Codes was like it was like a secret thing that you had that made the game different, or something to unlock shit, or even cool things. Like I remember in Sonic the Hedgehog, like I thought one of the coolest things when I was a kid is you put the debug mode on. So it almost felt like it was like, oh, I can fucking make these levels because you could put all the pieces and parts in and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I mean, the levels are already made, but something like that was just like whoa, that's fucking awesome. Yeah,
and now it's almost at that point though where it's not almost the point. This is the point where I think the companies just realize, you know what, with the internet, kids can figure out codes way too easily, so don't even fucking put them in there anymore.
Well, I think too is those codes aren't they're not looked upon as being cool anymore.
Almost kind of like you're cheating yourself.
Yeah, I mean, in the games nowadays, well, the codes aren't really necessary because back in the day, codes were necessary for the fact that that's how you got to like a certain level. Like by having a game genie or something's kind of nice because if you really wanted to work on a certain level, like just advance farther, you could keep going like, okay, I want to go to level 3-2, but I don't want to fucking have to work through 1, 2 over and over again. Yeah. So, like, it made sense for stuff like that. And nowadays, just like the game fucking saves every 5 minutes for you automatically, and holds your hand, and if you die, it picks you back up and goes, "It's okay, I'll brush the dust off for you. Here's full health." I know that last part was a little tricky, but here you go.
If you're Mario 3D Land, it just warps you to the very end of the level, saying, "You stupid fuck, here you go."
Yeah, Jesus Christ, can't do it on your own apparently. Until you get to like the actual like the second part of the game where like you get like all the hard levels and they don't have any of that shit in there, which is kind of cool. I pat Nintendo on the back for giving us that. That was pretty badass.
That was good of them.
But that's what I want. So what was the key thing? What was the thing we learned about today? New Star Fox, right?
New Star Fox. Dinosaurs are scary. Almost as scary as Courtney Love. Gun stuff. And DC needs to hop on the Justice League movie.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's a good place to end it at.
All right.
I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan. We should probably shoot up the email of this,
Oh, shoot us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. And also check us out at our oldmanorange.com page. From there you can find all the sites to everything. Newgrounds, YouTube, Facebook, whatever else we have.
Yeah.
Vimeo.
It's all at theoldmanorange.com.
Yeah, all there at theoldmanorange.com. Okay. You want to say your name?
My name's Ryan Dunigan.
And we're gone.
Goodbye.